Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tim with the TMA Connection, and we are on the road today outside the studio here at We Rock the Spectrum in Forest Hill. Got a pretty phenomenal gym here today, and I have owners, Nikki and Trey Wooton. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Came here during a chamber event. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by the chamber, and we had probably, 80 to 100 people in here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, and I never knew that this was, this was here before. So, what a great opportunity to showcase what you guys are doing. You guys are great people, and pleased to be here. So, before we get to We Rock the Spectrum, give everybody a little bit of an idea about who the Wootons are.
So, we're married and have been married for almost 23 years now, I think. And we have two kids. They're now 21 and 19.
Okay.
And so, background a little bit, Trey was a children's and youth pastor for a long time. He came on full-time here in 2021. So after serving in ministry, and I was a teacher. I have a background in education, but I taught a couple years before kids and then was a stay-at-home mom.
Gotcha.
I don't think we stayed at home a lot, but
I'm an ex-PE teacher, so this kind of stuff in here, that excites me. I love kinesthetic learning. So our family just has our kids were active, and there were a lot of things going on in the family. So So with teaching background and ministry, that has brought you into opening up this gym. It's a franchise, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how did that come? What made you guys decide to jump into this kind of business?
Yeah. So we are a franchise, but we are still small business where each one's owned individually. And we actually came across it. There's a billboard in Missouri that we found. We saw it, and our son was in middle school. Our son has autism.
Okay.
But a lot of it is just the struggle of the social aspect and a little bit of just those social emotional kind of things. He actually drives, has a job, functions in the world, because a lot of us are neurodivergent in some way anyway. And then so we started looking it up because our son was having there was a lot of different things that had just really been on our heart and mind about just kids that have a harder time in just the everyday activities. And basically the tagline is a place you never have to say I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And it's inclusive for all kids, all abilities.
Yeah.
And so just the fact of our family, and then we were seeing a lot in even the church of kids who had a harder time just being accepted and different things and different aspects of life, younger kids and older kids. Really like the aspect of a place where kids could just come and be kids. Mm-hmm. Parents could come and not have to, at least the idea is that you come in and you basically can breathe a little bit, not worry about your kids being judged too much, or judged. And I always like to add a place you never have to say I'm sorry and where grace is expected. And just that the way we try to do here is just give everybody a little grace, and even sometimes I feel like us as owners need a little grace too. Sure. So it was just that whole inclusive piece that I feel like sometimes as our kids were younger, it was hard to go to some of the places that were more stimulating and, you could go in loud and our daughter was always kind of shyer, more anxious. So even that aspect of a place, finding a place for us that we could all feel. And I don't like to go to places that get to a lot of the bigger places because I was getting overwhelmed too. So,
One of the places I try to stay out of is Chuck E. Cheese. That is just overstimulating for me. But I can remember back in my childhood, just that uneasiness of, getting involved with other people, of, cooperating and playing with other kids, or that anxiety that kind of comes about when you're trying to fit in, you know, and so you guys have really created an environment here where kids can, you know, kind of feel that acceptance.
Well, kids can come in and they can be themselves. They can be who they are. The whole thing is all kids, all abilities. Sometimes people call us and say, you know, can my child come to play? Of course, every child is welcome to come to play.
And that's definitely a key point to understand with We Rock the Spectrum. This is just not for kids with disabilities. Exactly. This is for kids with all abilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually had a kid yesterday that came in. He was a little older, and he was like, he came over and asked, what is the spectrum? It's called We Rock the Spectrum.
What's the spectrum?
And I'm like, you know, and like I could think of my adult answer, but we finally got to the thing of it's a range. Yeah. It was like, you know, you have your kids who I started because I wasn't sure, you know, wording, but I was like, you have the kids that don't have a differing ability, which I think he got, that aren't, you know, and then you have the kids that do have some differing abilities. And I said, and we can all come in and play. He was like, okay, cool. And then just went. So like,
that's a good way to think about it.
First time I've ever had a kid ask me, what's the spectrum? But you know, like the spectrum is just, the whole idea is just the range of everybody coming together and just learning, you know, to play. And our population is pretty much half and half as far as your neurotypical families, younger toddlers, kids just being kids, and then our neurodivergent kids with autism, other differing abilities. So, you know, and then the parents are really on all different levels as well. So,
well, I'm a 50-year-old kid, and the two things that I want to check out is this rock wall that's behind us and this zip line over here.
Exactly.
May I play with it before I leave today?
We'll talk about that.
Okay. All right, cool. So I just mentioned just two things in here, and we're talking about diversity of kids' abilities and you know, that spectrum that you were talking about. And I just mentioned the rock wall. I just mentioned the zip line. What are some of the activities and what are the benefits of those activities that people can experience or kids can experience when they come here?
Yeah, so obviously we have the rock wall, we have the zip line. Those are two of the most popular things. We have multiple swings, there's trampoline, there's climbing structures. There's smaller things, imagination stations, smaller toys, some arts and crafts area as well, smaller manipulatives for kids to play with too. So multiple different things for kids of all ages coming in. When we say from the littles to the bigs. So we have kids as young as 8 months coming in. We have kids as old as 10 to 12, depending on their ability. For our neurodiverse families, we have adults with special needs that come in. A few weeks ago, we had a 32-year-old in here playing that was having the best time of his life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so literally all ages, depending on their ability, can come into play. Yeah. So we have everything to cover those needs all the way through. Everything in here is sensory related in some way.
Okay.
And we have an entire informational board that can share specifically, and it's on our website, we rock the spectrum foresthill.com, that talks about how each piece relates to each sensory need.
That's neat. That's cool. And then, of course, there's different formats or different things that people can experience. We have open gym. We have some other things as well. What are some of the things different formats that you guys provide for people?
Yeah, so the open play is definitely a big one, as was mentioned. They do want to mention open play and make sure you always check our social media or ours listed on Google, because we do close down for private events. So that's another thing. Field trips, church groups, whatever it may be, they want to come in. So always check for open play hours before you come. But open play birthday parties is a big thing.
Okay.
We do encourage birthday parties to be booked at least 2-3 months in advance because we are very popular for birthdays.
Yeah, I can see why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and you guys have a separate, dedicated party room too.
Exactly. And the cool thing about our parties is they are completely private. Now, we're not talking about a private party room only. You got the entire gym and the party room just to you and your group.
That's pretty cool. Because when our kids were growing up, you'd be sharing 3 or 4 different parties at one time.
Exactly. Yeah. So open play, birthday parties, private events, field trips, pretty much whatever. I mean, the answer is always yes. If you want to find a way to use our space, we find a way for you to use our space.
And I'm thinking, so we do client appreciation events for our clients in real estate. And to think sometimes we'll go to a brewery, but that's not conducive to a family atmosphere. I mean, sometimes they are, but alcohol and stuff like that. But having an event where the ones with little kids can come, this would be a perfect place for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely. So we're open to anybody who wants to bring kids in. We are ready.
Yeah. Right. Now you tricked out a school bus. I mean, I did a little bit of snooping before I did my interview. I went on your website. You guys have completely gutted a bus.
Exactly.
And put a playground on wheels, basically?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Talk to me about this.
All right. So We Rock on Wheels is our mobile unit. We go out to all types of events. We do birthday parties. We've gone to breweries before as well. We've done a multitude of different private events. We just like to take the bus out. It's rentable for any type of event. Depending on the type of event, if it's a public event, it may be where we go to a venue, do not charge the venue, but yet we charge families to play.
Okay.
So there's multiple different options for payment per se.
Yeah.
But we want to go out. We go within about an hour radius of Forest Hill.
Okay.
And daycares call us out, home daycares, full day daycare centers. Just everywhere.
That's wild.
Now, on this bus, you can imagine, there's a small zip line. There are swings. There's a rock wall. There's a little small trampoline.
Oh my God.
There are monkey bars. So yes, all those types of things are on the bus. And there's slide going out the back of the bus. And then also outside the bus, we set up all kinds of outdoor activities too. So there's activities on and off the bus that the kids can play.
Wow.
Yeah. So for the bus, we say typically ages up to about 8, not because older kids would not have fun, but because they're too tall for the bus.
Yeah. That trampoline and tall kid just doesn't make sense. Or adults drinking a couple beers at a brewery coming into the bus is probably not a good idea.
Exactly. Right.
Right. But even some of the middle school and teenagers are always trying to get on the bus, and we'll let them kind of hang if it's kind of one of those in public events or even a private event. But yeah.
I mean, what a creative way to expand your business and expand your reach by not just having the gym here, but having a facility that can come to you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun to take the bus out, and kids get all excited. They see the big blue bus out, and they'll come into the gym and say, "We saw your bus."
That's cool. That's cool. Being in business together now since 29, well, he came on in 21, but you started this around 2019?
Well, yeah, we opened June of 2020, right? Smack in the middle.
Right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah, we started planning in 2019, signed on to the franchise, but then we started building here in November. They started fitting it out because we got to design the whole place. Yeah. So, and it took a little longer.
There are certainly peaks and valleys in business. I go through them in real estate all the time. What do you feel has been your greatest win, your greatest success that you guys have accomplished in the past 7 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I think really one of the big successes is just seeing the literally thousands of children who have come through We Rock, and seeing the excitement that they have when they come in the doors. They come in and they want to come back. They don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And so just being able to meet the needs of so many different families to a places that is safe and committed to children of all abilities.
I mean, and I would say too, and I know a lot of people say this, but we've also seen a lot of businesses that didn't make it, unfortunately, through COVID, and we actually opened in the middle of it, and so it, people are like, "Oh, that must have been awful," and I was like, it had its, really some of its advantages to a point too, where, because we opened, basically we say one family at a time. We did private rentals.
Oh, wow.
We reached out. There was a lot of our neurodivergent families that really didn't have other places to go, so they could rent it for an hour. Then we had our neurotypical families that just needed even more places to go because they were tired of the playgrounds or, those things. And then we were able to expand through that. So we were able to really, where our business is one of our big, missions with just inclusion, everybody feeling safe it's just relationships and connections. And that's been our biggest priority is when you walk in the door, we want you to feel comfortable coming in and you matter and not just another person, another family just spending money here. Right. And we like to kind of say we're not just another play place. We want to be, a community. Yeah. And so I feel one of the big, just going off of what he was saying, it's just building that community that people come in. And being as far as open, we'll hit 6 years in June. I mean, a lot of our kiddos that started coming when they were 1 or 2 are now in kindergarten and first grade, and they're still coming, but it's like seeing them developmentally grow, and then we're seeing their siblings are coming, and then now we're figuring out another, I'm sure another question's going to be kind of challenges is we're having to
how did you know
to start we're almost having to not start over, but now we're having to reach the younger families again that have just had kids, because because we're all ages, but during the day while school's in, we really depend on our preschool families in the area, our toddler families. And so just trying to figure out, we're getting people that are we live down the street and we just found out about you. You've only been open a little while, right? And we're almost 6 years, but
but it's a different age now. It's you're having to reinvent yourself again.
Yeah.
So that awareness is certainly probably going to be a challenge for you. Any other challenges that you guys are facing coming into 2026, or is that pretty much the biggest one?
That's pretty much the biggest one.
Yeah.
Last year was harder. We know the economy and it was hard last year for everybody.
Yeah.
But this year we're hoping it's going to be a lot better. So we're just encouraged people to come out and support local business as well.
Yeah. And the seasons really kind of, the way the weather is kind of,
it's been snowing a lot here lately.
Yes. The weather's been really good to us.
Okay.
As far, nobody else is liking the weather, but we've been busier because of it being colder and just gross outside. So people are coming in a little.
Well, I'm glad you like it, because I'm ready to move this out.
I think last year the weather was just nicer all the way around. So that was part of the.
We haven't had a tough winter in 10 years until so that
that week when school was out and stuff was really nice.
You guys were hopping. Huh? You guys were literally hopping.
Being inside.
Right.
But
wow. I always like to ask this question when I'm interviewing husbands and wives, because my wife and I work together. What's brought you guys closer together, and what's a rule or challenge that you guys face as being married, but also owning a business together, and how do you work through that?
I will give the nice husband answer. You may answer the question.
Good way to defer.
I would say some of it, we have figured out a lot of our what our strengths are in different ways. So he is good with the admin, the email. I tell we have people who have my text or they're reaching out message, and I'm you need to do, if you have a business question, it goes to our info email address, because he is way better.
Trey's behind that.
Yes, way better than that way. I'm a little bit more scattered sometimes with the admin stuff. So then I'm more the relational one. So I'm the one on the floor more when people are here, especially new families, making sure, if they have any questions or anything like that. I do all the social media stuff. He's learned a little bit, but he can post it. Okay. He's good at ChatGPT.
Right? Man, that's been a game changer, right?
We do a lot. So we've learned that there's different things. We'll literally, if we rock on wheels, if somebody calls, asking about that, I'm let me give you to Trey on this one, because he is better at just explaining more.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I go a little around the world, and he's a little bit more precise on those things. So we learned that. And then I think the biggest kind of challenge thing is just he's a little bit more type A. I'm a little bit more ADHD. So figuring out how we kind of have our system as far as I get notes, and I'm finally, maybe we're converting to more digital notes, because I literally last week had a stack of notes this whole of things, because we were a lot busier. The busier we are, the more I'm on the floor, the less admin stuff I do, the less stuff on the computer. So, but a big thing is it's hard. Like you probably get this, like the balance, just finding a balance of like not doing work all 24/7. And so we have finally gotten, because our staff is very, very small. We finally gotten where we get like 1 day a week off.
Okay.
And so like 1 day a week and a couple of 1 or 2 evenings a week off. Like we leave at 4.
Okay.
So, and then we really try not to work during those hours.
Wow.
You know, like still hard. We still talk about work sometimes.
It's tough.
But,
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just work for us. It's just a lifestyle for us. It's a mission, a ministry for us.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think that day off has made a huge difference for us. So
I think I need to do that. That would be, because I'm constantly on 24 hours and, you know, it is tough to turn it off, you know, and then you mentioned you have 2 kids too. And, you know, I have 3 daughters and they're always going in 3 different directions. So
Ours are older, but they still need, one's away at school and the other one is working. So like, you know, but it's still trying to find that balance, and they still need, you know, kind of like FaceTime, like our daughter's always like FaceTiming and all that. And then our son stops by. So, I mean, you know, but when we started the business, they were middle school or first of high school, I think. And
are they involved in the business at all?
Not too much. They helped a lot during COVID because like that's all.
Well, that's when you first started. You need all hands on deck, right?
So they just found our daughter realized that she did not want to be a teacher like she thought she wanted to during that aspect. Now she's in interior design, and then our son loves kids, so he helped a lot and will help here and there. But he's, you know, they got
my kids want nothing to do with real estate. They just see how much. I think they see how much time it takes.
That's the thing.
You know, and they're just like, no thanks.
Yeah, you know, and it took a lot of we were very unbalanced family wise for a while, and then we finally were able to figure out the balance and give them the time they needed, you know, and still need sometimes. So. But yeah, because I mean, I feel like a business like everybody's like, oh, you should be smooth selling now. And I'm like, no, it's always something else different. We're always having to switch gears on how, you know, how families are. I mean, I feel like every few years, just the way family dynamics are. Like we were doing a lot of kind of events during the day. Now, most families have, because a lot of families were or at least one parent was either working from home or staying home. And then now like more people are going to 2 incomes again, and everybody's back in the offices. So more kids are at, you know, preschool daycare and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. You guys have been members of the Chamber of Commerce for how long now?
So we were thinking probably 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years. And I would probably 2, but the first year I didn't really use much of my membership, and the second year I've really been getting out there and doing the networking events and stuff like that. How has the Harford Chamber benefited you guys in this venture that you guys are on?
Yeah, so we were very similar to you as well. Started out very slow, kind of looking into it and so forth. But what we've learned from the Chamber a lot is the power of networking.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about networking literally before we started.
Okay.
And so coming from a long history of ministry life, I have learned the business life.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And from the education stay-at-home life, she's learned the business life as well over the last 6 years.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
We've been doing this. Yeah, so power of networking has been brought up a lot through the chamber, and they offer so many different opportunities.
Yeah,
wish we could be involved even more, but unfortunately, being a small staff, local small business like we are, we have a difficult being a part of more things, but we want to jump in doing more things as we can.
Yeah,
but definitely have enlightened the opportunities. Coffee Connections is a big thing that the chamber does every month. That is free for chamber members and for guests to come to, and so that is something that we love to host here. Which you learn about us through that too. But just having opportunities to get to know other businesses in the community and see how we can all work together.
I think when you come with a mindset of just wanting to help other people and connect with people and build on relationships, like you mentioned, Nikki, that's what this is all about. You know, you become more successful by actually giving more, and when you give, you receive. I think. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So we are in winter months right now, and it is flu and cold season. There are germs.
Yes.
I mentioned, sorry, Chuck E. Cheese, but man, when my kids were younger and they wanted to go in those tunnels and ball pits, and I was just like, oh my, the kids would get sick anytime they come home. But you guys got something special going on here when it comes to hygiene and being sanitary. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we're the only place in Harford County that we're aware of that has a special system installed in our ceiling. It's called the Casper system. That's CASPR for those who want to look it up.
Okay.
But basically what the Casper system does is it puts out hydrogen peroxide molecules into the air 24/7. So it's sanitizing the air 24/7, which in turn is sanitizing the equipment in here as well.
Okay.
Now, on top of the Casper system, we also use what we call the electrostatic sprayer with a special solution we put in that as well. And we even though we don't technically have to because of the Casper system, we do extra added protection through all of our smaller toys, imagination station, arts and crafts area, infant and toddler area. So we spray that at least once daily. And what the electrostatic sprayer is doing is actually magnetizing the solution to stay on there longer. Unlike other sprays you may spray on, it dries, it kills the germs and it dries and it's done. Next child touches it, it's dirty again.
Yeah. Right.
So with the electrostatic sprayer, it's still working even after another child touches it as well.
Okay.
And so we go over and beyond in cleaning and sanitizing here. You may find dust. I say it's clean dust, but but you may find dust because dust.
We'll go with that at my house too. It's clean dust.
That's right. Yeah, it is sanitized dust.
It's sanitized dust.
Well, you know, the electrostatic sprayer is electrifying the solution, which means it's actually pulling the dust more to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we wipe and clean and all that, but I feel like everything just attracts.
That's a huge difference because, you know, people want to come to a place where their kids aren't going to get sick after they leave. You know?
And that's our goal. We always say we cannot guarantee, we cannot promise, but we
guarantee
do
who your child's playing next to and what you're bringing in.
Yeah, but we do our very best, and I can tell you, we do not get sick, and we're here 6-7 days a week. And so if we were going to be getting sick regularly, then there'd be a problem. But we do not get sick from being here. And what we hear from families, if you go back and look at our reviews, what you hear is that people come here because they know it's a good, clean, safe place for their kids to play, where they're not likely to get sick. And the fact that we even have some families who have children who are immunocompromised, who say they come here because they trust us. Right. And their kids come here and they feel safe and confident in doing so.
That's awesome.
And so to have immunocompromised kids come in, that says a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's a lot of people that don't have kids. They want to help you guys out. How can people that don't have kids still help you, be successful at your business?
Yeah, so there's multiple different ways.
Okay.
So I would say if you do not have kids, you know people who have kids.
Sure.
So we have gift certificates that can be bought in person or on our website.
Okay.
They have great gifts because sometimes people would rather have experience gifts.
Yeah.
However, if you want to actually give a gift outside of a gift certificate, we also have a great toy store here. Where you can just come in and shop. You do not have to bring kids in to shop. Yeah. There's all kinds of name brand toys available at great prices, very comparable to Amazon even. Okay. So we always say, support local again. Absolutely. We support local here as well. We actually have about 3 or 4 local businesses who sell their products in our rock shop, we call it, the retail area. Okay. And so when you come in, you have a chance to support not only us, but also 3 or 4 other local small businesses as well. That's awesome. That you can connect with. And so that's the way you can support us here. But we're also looking for businesses or individuals who would like to sponsor what we call sponsored play, where children can come in here and play for free because an individual or a business paid for them to come in for a block of time to play. Yeah. This may be for regular open play. This may be for a special event, whatever the case may be. But they can come in and we will blast out the sponsor through all our social media, newsletters. We have an in-house ad screen as well. So all those different ways that we can use to promote your business in return. And you can also be promoting your business during that sponsored time as well.
That's a win-win for everybody.
And then there's just the big thing too is social media that doesn't cost you anything. Just share us.
Like, comment, share. It feeds the algorithm. It gets the message out there.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's a big key. Word of mouth. I mean, that's pretty much usually like social media, like in groups that people are tagging, mentioning us, especially with like birthday parties and things to do. Yeah. And then, and then just people are like, yeah, my neighbor down the street or my friend or, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to have a special deal for the people that are listening to this or watching this on YouTube. We're going to give them a little bit of a TMA discount, right?
Exactly.
So what have we agreed upon?
We said $3 off open play.
$3.
So $16 is open play, so you
Yep.
can come in for $13.
That's 16's even just inexpensive. So thank you. That's awesome. And please tell them that you heard it on the podcast because
Right.
we love to hear that. A couple people that we've interviewed before have come to local businesses and said that they heard it from the podcast. And so this is growing and this is helping and this is connecting people and developing those relationships, which we've talked about already. So if people want to connect with We Rock the Spectrum, what are the different ways they can connect with you guys?
All right. So I would say look at social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook. Easy way to find it, WRTS Forest Hill, all one word. For the bus, We Rock on Wheels, WROW Forest Hill.
Okay.
And so we have two different social media pages, one for here, one for the bus. So check us both out, like and follow both pages as well. Mentioned website earlier, but We Rock the Spectrum foresthill.com.
Okay.
Again, we are part of a franchise, but again, all locally owned.
Yep.
And so make sure you type in the Forest Hill Park to find our specific location.
That's awesome. And phone number?
410-891-4600.
Wow. You guys have an amazing place here. Appreciate you having us in, especially so early in the morning before anybody gets here, before even all three of us are awake. And Drew, wake up over there. And, but it's just a special place. You guys have to check this out. Connect with these guys on social media. Thank you so much, Nikki and Trey, for inviting us in. And until next time, folks, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.